We're getting ready to put out this third edition of Survey of the Old Testament that my colleague Andrew Hill and I have done. And some people might ask, why do we need a new edition? Well, let me try to address that. You know, I teach this class every semester, and I never teach it the same way twice. I'm learning all the time. As I communicate to undergraduate students, they're taking it because they have to take an Old Testament course, and they walk in, lots of them thinking it's going to be a ho-hum Old Testament, I have to be here. And the big challenge I face, as many of my colleagues face, is how in the world do you grab that audience and get them excited about what you're excited about. Doing this every semester, we learn new tricks every semester. New things to say, new ways to frame things, new approaches to the material that are going to catch that audience and help them get excited about what we're excited about. To me, it's one of the most exciting challenges with teaching that I get the chance to do this. And to look in those faces that first day with the glazed over eyes and wondering what they're doing here, and have them walking out by halfway through the semester just in jubilation with what they're learning and ecstatic about the way that the Old Testament is coming alive to them. Now, that's why we have to go back every decade or so and say, there's stuff we've learned that we want to put into this book to help our colleagues everywhere who are using this to teach their students, because we want that excitement to communicate. One of the ways we did this in this new edition is that it's now full color. You know, we had the black and white photos in the last one, and really not too many of them, and not all of them very effective. It was just try to get some visual content. But you'll find a very high grade of visual content in full color in this new edition that will help excite and interest your students. I think you'll also find that the material has been sort of recontexted. We've written new information for the introduction, information that sets it in a sort of thematic, theological context. And the main thing is the presence of God. The presence of God from Eden through the burning bush in Mount Sinai, through the tabernacle and the temple, we even trace it through into the incarnation and Pentecost and new creation, this theme of God's presence. And we've tried to put the whole Old Testament into that kind of context so that they can see the big picture. We see lots of our role in these books, especially a text like this, in helping the students to put the Old Testament in context. The ancient context, the literary context, the theological context. All of those issues are important for them to understand, why is this in my Bible and what should I do with it? And as we go through each chapter, we try to bring that material to them to say, this is how you get into a book like this that undoubtedly, if you've ever cracked it open before, you found very difficult. And we want to help them to do that. We've also written new material for the epilogue, for the end, including a whole new section that makes sure that we're bringing students through the gap and into the New Testament. And again, to continue that larger theological picture that begins in the Old Testament and finds its climax and culmination in the New Testament. Yet even as we do that, we are careful and interested in understanding it one stage at a time, so that they can see the Old Testament in its fullness of authority, in its fullness of revelation, in its own context, and yet also see how it moves into the New Testament. So we've provided material, a lot of new material, both on front side and back side, to bring that to life for students. The pictures help do it throughout, and we've made changes throughout to bring things up to date, to hone our wording, to use information that we found helpful in communicating about the books. So that's a lot about this new edition that really gets us excited, and hope that my colleagues will find it equally exciting as they use it in their classes.